and welcome to your messages for September 2023. And the first thing I want to say, of course, is that it's my birthday month. So I will be offering a free energy reading to one lucky winner picked at random from those who comment below. I will pick someone at random. It will be later on in the month, obviously. If you do want to apply, is that the right word, for your chance to win this freebie, you do need to be prepared to work on Zoom. So it will be a Zoom session. I will send you a Zoom link. You also need to be prepared to hear back from me, of course, because I have done this in the past and had difficulty actually contacting people. So I will obviously reply to your comment when I have picked the winner at random. But it's also always a good idea if you're like on Facebook with me, or, you know, if I can contact you some other way as well, just in case you haven't come back. You need to come back to the video to check whether or not you've won it, of course. But anyway, that's in honor of my own birthday, being September being my birthday month. So yeah. Also, I think there's lots of other good things going on in September. I think the energies, I don't know, I'm feeling it's a little bit less intense. We've got Venus going direct on the 4th. And I think that's really, I've seen that's really affected people, it being in retrograde. It's brought up all this reflecting on relationships and observing them from a higher level of consciousness, which of course goes hand in hand with forgiveness, which is why forgiveness has come up quite a lot lately. So if you're still on that path, because we're not quite at the 4th of September, if you're still on that path, and of course these are energies, so sometimes the energies can go on a little bit after. I'll put a link in the description, because it was a few weeks ago, I'll find it, the one that was all about forgiveness being the key to love. It's the key to hitting the frequency of love. And I also have another video in the Lessons in Awakening. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you haven't seen the Lessons in Awakening, please check them out. It's a whole series, short 20-minute videos on various topics to do with waking up to your multidimensional nature, shall we say, the importance of emotions and thoughts and how to master them, and, you know, willingness, self-love, understanding triggers, and the path to forgiveness is there as well. So I'll put a link in to those two, because I think they're still really relevant, because it's about we might have already dealt with it. You think you've already dealt with stuff, but our evolution goes like a spiral. And that's why we get an opportunity to come back to reflect on events from a higher level of consciousness. And until we are reflecting on all the events in our life and everyone in it with unconditional love, then we still have a way to go, don't we? So that kind of brings it home, doesn't it? So yes, Venus going direct is happening. And the other thing that I've noticed coming up with clients lately, when I do the readings, which a lot of clients, well, actually not a lot, all of them report back that my readings are like the universe giving you a kick up the backside. So if you feel stuck, or you just feel like you want some confirmation, I always say it's confirmation, but sometimes it's confirmation in no uncertain terms, and so it is a little bit like a kick up the backside. But the reason that came up was because a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, I used to love doing that, or when I was a child I loved doing that. Anything that you used to love doing, I mean, on the one hand, we're moving away from things, so if it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you. But if you're looking back thinking, yeah, I really used to enjoy doing XYZ, and you're looking back with that expanded state, you know, then maybe you should try doing XYZ again. Do you know what I mean? Not like sort of if you're looking back thinking, oh, I used to do this, but now I prefer this. That's different. I'm talking about the passions that you had that maybe got knocked out of you, you know, for whatever reason, because you had to go to work and you had to make money, or because your parents told you it was a waste of time, or school didn't offer whatever it was as a subject for you to take. I think that's quite common, especially in the creative arts and everything. So yeah, that's been coming up a lot lately. Oh, they just all wanted to come out when I said that. Yeah, looking back at your past passions. That's what I want to say. And maybe it's time to start rekindling some of them. Right, so those 4 cards wanted to come out, didn't they? Let's dive straight in. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So first of all, this is about self-realization. The Wheel of Fortune is basically a destiny card, and you can see we have the fixed signs of the zodiac around there, because there is definitely a link to astrology. And I am often saying, and I'm going to say it again, if you haven't had your birth chart read, then I suggest that you have your birth chart read, because it's one of the biggest motorways to enlightenment. We talk about paths to enlightenment. The birth chart is like a motorway to enlightenment, just understanding who you are, because at the end of the day, we just came here to be who we are. We just came here to be who we are at a soul level, not that human that's caught up in lack and limitation and separation. Okay, we're in that lack and limitation and separation for a reason. It's for us to experience the opposite of who we are, because we are abundant and love and one. And so it's a bit like when you don't have something, you learn the importance of it. And we're here to enjoy understanding all of that. We're here just to enjoy remembering our power, remembering who we are, and expressing who we are on a soul level. This for me is about the soul profiles. I do the soul profiles all the time now. It always comes up as something that needs to be said. Of course, people that come back again and again, it's not something that you keep reading. Your soul profile is your soul profile, right? It's a bit like your birth chart. You can keep reading a birth chart, of course, because you can look at what's happening, in today's astrology, what transits are going on that's going to affect you now. So the birth chart is something you can have, reread all the time. But the soul profile that I offer is a reading of your soul and what your soul wants to do in this lifetime. And sometimes I give people reminders. They've had the soul profile done and they maybe they just thought it was a personality test or something, but really it's about what your soul it's who your soul came here to be. Because a lot of people often think it's about doing, and it's not about doing. We've got that concept because of this need to go to work. We've been programmed that we need to go to work. So we think that we have to do something all the time. But actually, everything that comes into your reality is coming into your reality because of your frequency, because of your energy. And so they're resonating with you, that they're coming. So really, it's got nothing to do with doing. It's just to do with being. If you're being right at the right frequency, then all those things that are at that frequency that are for you, because what is for you won't go by you, right? They will come into your reality. So it's not about doing, it's about being, but it is about being who you really are. And sometimes we don't always know that. And I often use myself as an example, because our gifts can often go against us. Everything is energy. So we're talking about, like, whether we're talking about tarot or astrology or the energies that we are. So we are all, we're all one. We all come from source. So we are made up of these 8 energies. And when you talk about them and you give them labels, you're already limiting them. So please keep that in mind as I talk about them. But we have divine compassion, we have divine creation, divine order, divine love and healing, that is. We have divine self-expression, divine truth, divine wisdom, and divine power. Okay, and those 8 energy centers, we have a little bit of all of them, because that is the energy of source. And each energy center has its own qualities, and all energies can have a positive or negative polarity. Of course they can. That's energy, right? It depends how you use it. It's a bit like a knife. Can be used negatively or positively. So when we're unaware of all of this, often what is actually our gifts can work against us. So what I do with the soul profile readings is we look at, because this is why I love doing them so much, because it is a big reminder that we are all one and we are all made of the same energy, but we get our uniqueness from the percentage of our dominant energies. We have differing degrees of those 8 energies. So we'll have dominant one, then another dominant, the next dominant, until we have one that's our least dominant. And if you added up the percentage of each one, of course, of all 8, it would come to 100, right? And obviously, ideally, we want to embody all of who we are. So I consciously, well, I don't know whether I do it consciously. I think I do it subconsciously sometimes, embodying the ones that I'm actually, I have less of. Like, for example, my vegetable patch, which I got really into. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it. It expressed, I expressed myself that way. But it isn't my dominant one. That gift of growing plants isn't my dominant one. And so I just backed out and now focus on what my dominant ones are. But I often I'll go and have a look at the qualities of all of the energy centers, so that I can identify when I'm embodying each one, because ideally we do want to embody all of who we are. But in the beginning on this path, we just want to make sure that our main activity, our abundance activity, as I call it, I don't call it work, remember, abundance activity is using your divine gifts. So as an example, right, I'm dominant in divine truth and divine self-expression, right? So very much so in truth, which means I can tell when people are lying to me, and it means I can't lie for toffee, but it really means that you can feel truth, right? And I thought that everybody was like this. I thought everyone could do this, but of course now I understand that some people actually not only enjoy lying, but I realize that some people make a living out of lying. But you don't always realize this when you're growing up. You kind of think everyone's like you, right? And my second dominant is divine self-expression, the 5th energy center, which is why I talk a lot. So when I was younger, I would tell the truth, but some people aren't ready to hear the truth. And especially as a little child, I might have turned around and said, "Oh, mummy, look, that person's really fat," or something like that, and then I was told, we don't say that. And you learn, oh, you don't speak the truth. You see what I mean? It's not always done like negatively. It's just they work against you. This is what I'm trying to say. The point I'm trying to make is that often our gifts work against us when we're not conscious of them. And of course, as a child growing up, I was chatterbox. I was the talkative one. I was always being told to be quiet, Deborah. Always. And then when I became a teenager, I actually remember hating myself because I spoke so much. And I would go to parties and things and literally make myself so uncomfortable because I was trying not to talk. And there's a perfect example of how our gifts work against us. Okay. Now, of course, so that's the negative polarity. Positive polarity is identifying your gifts. This is why it's so important to understand who you really are. Identifying your gifts and using them, creating conscious channels in your life whereby you can use them, express them, be who you really are, but have them appreciated. So hence my YouTube channel, because you can switch me off. But I still get to talk. If you did a survey of most of the people that have YouTube channels, I think the bulk of them will be 5th energy centers, divine self-expression. And of course, I now focus on the truth of who we really are. So I'm experiencing the truth of who I really am. I'm exploring the truth of who I really am, and I'm helping other people find the truth of who they really are. So now I'm using, consciously using those characteristics, those qualities, however you want to word them, in the positive polarity. Do you see what I mean? And also your abundance comes because it makes me high. I obviously get a lot out of what I do. My clients are often drained. by the end of it, because we do a lot of emotional release, right? There's a lot of emotional release going on, which can be very draining, of course, and listening to me for 2 hours. But I'm always high. But when we use our gifts, we align with more of who we are, of course, and it gives us energy because it gives us life force. And that's what creates our abundance. Our abundance comes from our frequency. Our abundance comes from our life force. I mean, all of this from this card. It's a really, really important card. And the same with, as I was saying, having your birth chart read, or something like gene keys, getting into the gene keys, which is Liz's area now, but not mine. But things like that, they're all different techniques and tools to explore more of who you are. I actually want to throw yoga in there as well, because on my yoga path, it's really helped me realize more of who I am. But that's what this card is about. It's your destiny. What did you come here to do? And actually, this is linked to what I've just said about past passions, because very often as a child, you will instinctively do what you want, what your soul wants. When you're playing, you don't have any of those limiting beliefs. So you're naturally going to play in a manner that's going to display who you are on a soul level, because you haven't accumulated all that lack, limitation and stuff like that that's going to stop you. I often, when I do the soul profiles, I find that, well, this is your gift, or this is your gift. And then people will say, oh, yeah, I used to do this. I used to do this. And very often I find myself saying, well, would you like to have more time to do that, again? Oh, my God, yeah, that'd be great. Well, you need to make time. You need to bring more of that into your life. Whatever it is, you need to bring more of it into your life so that you can express all of who you are. It's very easy for us to get out of balance and to get out of habits of doing what we really enjoy. So yeah, that's a really important one. It's about self-realization. It's about reflecting on who you are. And it's not about who you want to be. People often say, you can be whoever you want to be. Well, yes, of course you can, but you've got to be careful where that want comes from. You've got to be careful where that want comes from, because your want, your desire, could be a program. I want my parents to approve of me. We often have, I want the approval of my friends, family, my parents, or what have you. So therefore, I want to be a success in that area because I want to be seen as being worthy. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Sometimes we don't even know what we want because we are so programmed. I mean, that's what happened to me. I didn't even know I wanted to run the garden retreat. I mean, it didn't even enter my head. So it is really about just going with the flow. I mean, I always let go with the flow. Same old message. Look, the whole world. We've got this and this coming up. Wow. This is a completion. Something big has completed. It's not just Venus going direct. This is the intensity of the summer has really shifted us all into higher levels of consciousness. It really has. And this is about, look, we've got the fixed signs again. Okay. So we really do have this astrological element going on. It's really important to at least understand the basics of astrology, or there's people really passionate about it. Obviously, I'm going to put a link in the description to Amy Bird, my good friend and astrologer, because she's fantastic at using her intuition when she reads your birth chart. So she'll be channeling all sorts of intuitive stuff, as well as her knowledge and expertise and experience in reading the actual chart. But this is really giving us a reminder of the importance of astrology. So just learning the basics or reading the blogs. I mean, Amy does blogs on all the transits that are going on. So just reading blogs from an experienced, knowledgeable astrologer can help, just to give you the heads up. And it gives deeper meaning, I want to say. I really want to say that. It gives deeper meaning and significance to what's going on. And it helps you understand stuff. I was listening to somebody doing an astrology reading on YouTube, and it literally said, you may have to spend money on your car. And I heard that literally 24 hours after I had just spent a load of money on my car. And I'm like, what? But the good thing was that I was like, oh, it's an astrological thing. So I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going into victim mode. Oh, woe is me. There's something wrong with my car. Oh, this is so much money that I have to pay out. This is not right. There's something wrong. It's bad. I'm worrying. No, it was like, oh, that's part of the flow. And if it's all part of the flow, and I'm part of the flow, and my money is part of the flow, because I don't have hang-ups, so therefore I'm not trying to hold on too tightly to it. Remember, and this came up recently as well, money is an energy like everything else. And we talk about water being an energy. And if you stop the flow of water, it goes stagnant and all horrible things start growing in it, right? And I often refer to that when I'm talking about emotions, because obviously I specialize in emotional healing. But emotions go around in cycles as well. And if you block them, like when we block them in the cells of our body, they get stuck, they'll go stagnant. They don't just die. You can't kill energy. You just get stagnant, and then horrible things grow, like illness, disease, tumors, all sorts of things, right? Well, it's the same with money. If you're not letting money flow, it's an energy. So it comes in, it goes out, it comes in. And people moan about this. I hear people saying, oh, as soon as money comes in, it's gone out. Or money's going through my fingers. And I'm like, but the money's coming in. The money's coming in. It has to be coming in to go through your fingers. It has to be coming in to go out. It's okay. Because what are you going to do with the money if it just comes in? You're just going to put it in the bank and look at that number in the bank account. And a lot of people have their self-worth, their security, their stability, their sense of who they are from that number in the bank account. And they just always want to keep a certain amount. It's like keeping clothes in your closet that you don't wear anymore. It's like it's there, right? But it needs to move. And so one of the things a lot of people are scared of, and I was too, but I remember doing this a few times, is people are very scared to spend their savings, because everyone says, we've got to keep it for a rainy day. That's what we say in English. We've got to keep it for a rainy day. But I understand the importance of being safe and secure, but it's the feeling of being safe and secure. It's that feeling of being abundant and that trust in the universe. So, when you trust in the universe, and I've noticed this so many times, if I have a big expense coming, I'll have a busy week. It happens all the time. And if I don't have a big expense coming, I have an easier week. And that's going with the flow, isn't it? Because I love what I do. So busy weeks don't faze me, but it's lovely to have a not so busy week, because then I can do all sorts of other things, But it's this trust that it's okay if I get a car bill. It's okay, because the money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes out. It's nice, isn't it? It's a flow. There's some kind of completion. There's some kind of, I don't know, understanding all of that, I want to say. Let's have a look at the next one. Standing your ground. And now, because this has come on the heels of me just saying spending your money, often, especially if you're in a relationship, your partner might say, no, that's not right. You can't spend all of our savings. It's a gamble. It's not a gamble. That's not the right word. It's a leap of faith. What did I just say? You have to trust in the universe. You have to know in the universe. We don't even have any pentacles coming up when I'm talking about money. Because it's about abundance, and it's about passions. Wands are fire, transformative. It's passions. It's about spending all your money, all the money that you have, on a yoga teacher training like I did, and everyone's saying, you're mad, why don't you just save up more money so that you can do a yoga teacher training while still keeping money in your bank account? And I'm like, well, I can't do that, because something is telling me I'm being called. Something is telling me I've got to do this particular yoga course in this place with this teacher, with these people. It was like so clear to me that I had to do that. There was nothing going to stop me. And, so I spent all my savings. And there were people that were saying, you're mad, but I wasn't mad, because it raised my frequency. And then when you raise your frequency, you feel more abundant, you're in an expanded state of awareness, and then everything comes to you because it's coming to you in resonance, isn't it? So anything that raises your frequency, is money well spent. And it's going to be better for you to spend the money on what raises your frequency than keeping it in the bank. But it makes me sound really irresponsible, doesn't it? But it's just that it's one of these things that I've really kind of learned in life. So these are the people reflecting back to you your own doubts. That's why he's standing there. But he's got courage and conviction. He has courage and conviction. That's the message with this card. And these people, he feels like he's defending himself a little bit, but these people are just reflecting back to him his own self-doubt, because we're so programmed. So we're always going to have doubts, aren't we? Like when we spend large amounts of money, or, you know, that little worry when money goes out and then maybe there isn't so much money coming in, you know, and then you've got that fear. It's fear that's coming up. But that's just because of the way we've programmed. It's about releasing the fear and trusting. That was last week's, wasn't it? Trusting in the process of life. Because what's coming in, something new for you, something new for you. And we do need to clear out the old. So when you clear out all the clutter from your home, I've never thought about this before, but maybe it's time to clear out some of the money from your bank account and put it to good use. And someone actually said to me this week, it's like, you know, if I came into money now, I would spend it differently. And I'm like, yes, you would spend it wisely. You would spend it for the highest good of all. You would spend it on raising your frequency and helping to raise the frequency of others, because you're a starseed and that's what you came here to do. I wouldn't be suggesting this to people that are going to go out and just get drunk on the money. It's not about that. It's about investing in you, investing in your future, and investing in creating heaven on earth. And because you're at a level of consciousness that can deal with all of that, because your money is going to be spent morally and wisely and divinely, I want to say, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about wasting it. I'm talking about following your passions, because he is all about something new coming in, opportunities and offers of something new coming in. Cups is spirituality, intuition, creativity, and love. The fish is a sign of wisdom, and it's a wise move to embrace your spiritual nature, to follow your intuition, to follow your creativity, explore your soul's natural creative urges, and to seek emotional fulfillment. Seek emotional fulfillment, because when you do all of this, when we follow our gifts, when we use the qualities that we're dominant in, you know, when we start living the life that our birth chart, you know, told us to live, right? It is going to lift you, and you're going to find emotional fulfillment. And that we didn't realize we were going to do that. I use myself as an example. I've done it before, but living in a mobile home, working from a tent in the garden, you know, I wasn't programmed to think that that was successful. No one told me that I was going to find this amount of love and happiness and joy and health and abundance in doing that. You know, my programmed mind was like, oh, am I a failure in life? I was like, no. You're expressing life. We are life. We're expressing who we are. And we're all so unique. And one of the beautiful things I love about the soul profiles is that it really shows us the beauty of our uniqueness within the unity of who we are. Oh, I want to say that again. It shows the beauty of our uniqueness in the unity of who we are. It's I think it's important to understand all of this, because these are new ideas and offers and opportunities coming in to be more creative, following your passions, remember, and following your intuition. And even though there's no pentacles, there was still a little message there about, you've got to speculate to accumulate. Is that I think that's a very business term, isn't it? But you know what I mean. It is about exploring the whole world, exploring the universe. The universe is your playground. The universe is your playground. You know, you might have an expensive hobby. I know people that have an expensive hobby, and so they don't do it very often. But actually, if you were to do it more, you will find opportunities and offers to expand into more of who you are. That will bring you greater abundance. Do you see what I mean? Don't get caught up in the I can't do it much because it's expensive. Because if it's going to really make you feel more of who you are, then you are going to receive greater abundance in some way or another. Do you see what I'm getting at? Wow, interesting one. Well done for getting this far, if you're still here, which you are. Okay, so comment below. I'd love to hear what your passions are. Comment below if you would like your chance to win my free energy reading to celebrate the month of September, which is my birthday month. And get in touch if you'd like a private reading, which doesn't just include the soul profile. It includes all the things that I do, which is, you know, emotional healing, belief changing modalities. There's the mentoring, yoga. I put that in sometimes if people have physical issues, and the card readings, of course, and clarity on where your soul wants you to go, right? And I swear, I never tell anybody what they don't already know on some level. But it's just like, as I said before, it's a kick up the backside. The universe giving you a kick up the backside to get you into what you really came here to do. Because although everyone's getting, you know, as they raise their level of consciousness, our realities are just getting more and more beautiful. But I think we're just touching, I think it's the tip of the iceberg. You know, we really are creating heaven on earth. And what does heaven on earth look like to you? Because, you know, now's the time to bring it into physical form. And we do that because by following our passions, because it's heaven on earth is a level of consciousness. So when we hit that level of consciousness, Christ consciousness, even if we just get up to love on that chart, you know, love or above, then you're living in love and peace and joy. And then you are creating a reality at that frequency. So your level of consciousness is up there, which means your words are up there, your beliefs in yourself, your self-love is up there, your understanding of it all, your beliefs, your trust is up there, your self-worth is up there, your confidence is up there. You know, it's all at that level of consciousness. So when your words are at that level, then your actions, you know, carrying out your passions, carrying out your joys, carrying out your abundant activity, whatever it may be, is all going to be at that level. And when we let that level of consciousness flow through us into form, we are the bridge between heaven and earth. We are the creators. We are the ones that are creating the physical world. It's being created through us and through our perception of what's going on. And so we really need to raise our level of consciousness so that we can then create from that level of consciousness a reality that reflects that level of consciousness. Get in touch if you want a private reading. I love you all. Have a fantastic month of September.